Shocking courtroom revelations, unexpected twists, and a tangled web of emotions. The Sean Diddy Combs trial is nothing short of a spectacle. But what's the truth? Was this a case of manipulation, coercion, or simply a complicated, toxic relationship? In today's episode, we dive deep into the controversial testimony of Combs' ex-girlfriend, Jane, and the defense's shocking tactics to challenge her claims. From explicit messages to bizarre hotel nights, we unravel the details that could change everything. Stick with us because what happened next is far from what you might expect. But as we take a closer look, what do you think? Do you believe Jane's story, or do you think the defense's argument holds more weight? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the latest updates as this trial unfolds.
The trial's key figures and background. The Sean Diddy Combs trial has captivated audiences, not just because of his celebrity status, but because of the dark and disturbing nature of the charges. Combs, the famous music mogul and entrepreneur, stands accused of serious crimes, including sex trafficking and coercion, with his ex-girlfriend, known only as Jane, testifying against him. But this isn't just about legal accusations. It's about the tangled dynamics between them, the manipulation, and the stories that are starting to come to light. In court, Jane painted a picture of her time with Combs that's hard to ignore. She described feeling manipulated, used, and disgusted by some of the things she was forced to do. But here's where it gets tricky. The defense has fought hard to discredit her testimony, and their strategy is clear. Show the jury that Jane wasn't a victim, but an active participant in what went down. The defense has used Jane's own text messages to paint a picture of a much more complicated relationship. In one exchange, Jane even referred to herself as horny and initiated sexual conversations with Combs. What's happening here is more than just a trial of legal facts. It's a battle for perception. Was Jane coerced into these acts, or did she play a more willing role in this twisted relationship? As the defense brings more of these personal exchanges to light, it's starting to feel like there's more to this story than meets the eye.
Jane's contradictory testimony. As the defense continued its cross-examination of Jane, a pattern began to emerge. Her testimony seemed to contradict itself at times. She painted a picture of being manipulated and coerced by Combs, yet her text messages told a different story. In one message, she even expressed how much she loved Combs, describing their sexual chemistry in glowing terms. "What are you doing, baby? Horny for me?" A text she sent to Combs painting a picture of a much more complex relationship than what Jane had originally described. This is where things get murky for the prosecution. Jane's feelings for Combs seem to go beyond just the victimhood she describes. At one point, she even testified that she was given her gift for her birthday, which included a bizarre hotel night with 3 male escorts. She claimed to be taking a pill, awaiting an entertainer, and her description of the events leaves a lot of room for doubt. How could someone who claims to have been coerced into these acts also describe such intimate, affectionate moments with the same person? Was she really trapped in a cycle of manipulation, or was there something else at play here? The defense has seized on these inconsistencies, asking whether Jane's actions and words were truly those of a victim or someone who willingly participated in the acts she now claims were forced upon her. As the cross-examination continued, Jane's testimony started to crumble under pressure, leaving jurors questioning the reliability of her story. Could she have been part of a twisted love affair, or is this a case of a victim being forced to do unspeakable things she now regrets? Key moments in court. The trial took a bizarre turn when certain details of Jane's relationship with Combs began to surface, painting an even stranger picture of their time together. One of the most unexpected revelations came when Jane testified that she would buy matching shorts for Combs and the male escorts they invited into their hotel nights. Why? To make the experience more attractive to her, Jane claimed. It sounds almost too outlandish to be true, yet these details are central to the defense's argument.
The defense has seized on these strange actions as evidence that Jane wasn't being coerced, but rather an active participant who was helping orchestrate these hotel nights. If she was truly a victim, why would she take such an active role in planning these encounters? This is a point that the defense continues to hammer home. Jane's actions, whether it's shopping for matching outfits for Combs and his escorts or planning the details of their encounters, don't align with the idea of someone being forced into sex trafficking. But beyond these small, odd details, there are bigger questions lingering in the courtroom. The defense has worked hard to highlight that, despite Jane's claims of being manipulated, she wasn't entirely powerless. She was engaging in text messages, arranging encounters, and in many ways contributing to the chaotic nature of their relationship. The prosecution, on the other hand, continues to argue that these actions were the result of coercion, manipulation, and a sense of being trapped in a toxic cycle of control. Still, the jury must wrestle with the most unsettling part of Jane's testimony. She claimed to have been given pills and used like an object during these so-called hotel nights. Yet, despite these claims of abuse, Jane's words and actions paint a much more complicated reality, one where the lines between victim and willing participant are becoming dangerously blurred.
As the trial unfolds, we start to see a pattern of speculation, rumors, and conflicting narratives that complicate the search for truth. The defense team has made it clear they are not just fighting the charges, they are fighting to redefine the entire narrative of Jane's relationship with Combs. They argue that the affectionate text messages and her active participation in the hotel nights are proof that this wasn't about coercion. It was about complex relationships, emotional attachment, and mutual consent. The problem, however, is that speculation is running rampant both inside and outside the courtroom. Throughout the trial, defense lawyers and even Jane herself have provided inconsistent stories that leave the public questioning what really happened. Was Jane manipulated, or was she an active participant in a consensual yet complex relationship? Was she truly coerced, or did she willingly engage in these encounters? This tension between coercion and consent is at the heart of the trial, and the speculation has only fueled the controversy. Some believe Jane's inconsistent testimony proves her story is unreliable, while others feel that it reflects the confusion and emotional turmoil often associated with victims of abuse. What's clear is that the defense is pushing hard to suggest that Jane's testimony may be less about truth and more about personal feelings of betrayal and jealousy, especially when she talks about the instances where Combs was seen with other women. And the speculation doesn't stop there. Outside the courtroom, social media has exploded with rumors about what's going on behind the scenes. There are whispers about Combs' connections to other high-profile celebrities like 50 Cent and Suge Knight, who have long had their own issues with Combs. These rivalries are creeping into the trial, adding another layer of complexity to an already controversial case. The public is captivated by these outside influences, rivalries, speculations, and rumors, and it's hard to tell what's really driving the drama. Are we witnessing a genuine case of manipulation, or is this just the latest chapter in a long history of celebrity feuds and personal vendettas?
The role of celebrity rivalries. The drama surrounding the Sean Diddy Combs trial isn't just limited to the courtroom. It's spilling out into the world of celebrity rivalries and public feuds that have added even more fuel to the fire. One name that keeps popping up is 50 Cent. Known for his unrelenting social media presence and history of public clashes with Combs, 50 Cent has been a central figure in the background of this trial. But what's their history, and how does it tie in to the case at hand? Their rivalry dates back to the early 2000s, when 50 Cent was coming up in the rap game. At one point, 50 Cent claimed he helped ghostwrite some of Combs' lyrics. This set the stage for a war of words that lasted for years, involving insults, jabs, and even accusations over their business dealings, including competing vodka brands. The tension between them was palpable, and given Combs' celebrity stature, it's no surprise that this long-standing feud is now creeping into the trial. 50 Cent has even mentioned the trial on social media, throwing in his own commentary and stirring the pot even further. For some, it's as if the courtroom drama is just another chapter in the long saga of these two personalities at odds. But it's not just 50 Cent causing waves. Another name that's been brought up repeatedly in the trial is Suge Knight, the former head of Death Row Records. His presence in the trial goes back to the mid-90s, when he was a key figure in the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry. Combs, as the leader of Bad Boy Records, was the face of East Coast hip-hop, while Knight represented the West Coast. Their rivalry was legendary, but it wasn't just about music. It was also personal. The accusations of violence, betrayal, and backstabbing between these two camps are infamous. Now, with Knight's name coming up during the trial, it's clear that old wounds are being reopened. From Combs' former assistant claiming they were forced to confront Knight in a tense standoff, to the broader implications of these historical feuds influencing the trial, the connection between these celebrities adds another layer of complexity to the case. Could old grudges be playing a role in shaping how this trial is perceived? As the case progresses, the lines between legal proceedings and celebrity drama become increasingly blurred. The courtroom isn't just a place for evidence and testimony, it's also a stage for rivalries that have been simmering for decades, and those personal conflicts are impossible to ignore.
Jane's motives in the public's perception. As the trial moves forward, one of the most significant questions that keeps coming up is, why now? Why is Jane coming forward with her story after all these years? What has changed in her life that has led her to testify against Combs? The prosecution argues that this case is about much more than just one woman's personal story. It's about a broader pattern of manipulation, control, and exploitation. But for some, it's not that simple. The defense continues to argue that Jane's actions, sending affectionate messages, taking part in the sexual encounters, and even actively planning hotel nights, point to someone who is not a passive victim, but someone involved in a complex, often conflicting relationship. The defense's narrative casts doubt on Jane's portrayal as a victim. If she truly felt trapped, why did she continue to send loving messages to Combs even after the alleged coercion began? Why would she engage in these acts with other men if she was being manipulated? These are the questions the defense is raising as they work to tear down her credibility, showing inconsistencies in her testimony. The defense argues that Jane's emotions were likely driven by jealousy, manipulation, and a desire for revenge, especially after Combs was seen with other women. This complex cocktail of emotions, the defense suggests, could explain why Jane is now portraying herself as a victim after years of involvement. But here's the catch. This trial is far more complicated than just a question of who's telling the truth. When emotions like jealousy, attachment, and betrayal are in play, it becomes harder to draw a line between manipulation and genuine love. Jane herself admitted that she was still in love with Combs, which raises even more questions about her motivations. For many viewers and those following the trial, it's difficult to reconcile the woman who claims to have been coerced with the woman who continues to express deep affection for the man at the center of these allegations. This clash between emotional attachment and perceived abuse makes the trial difficult to navigate, not only for the jury but also for the public. As Jane's testimony unfolds, it's becoming clear that the truth in this case might be more complicated than anyone initially thought. And as the story continues to develop, more questions about Jane's motives and the public's perception of her will certainly come to light.
The impact of public opinion and the media. As with many high-profile trials, public opinion plays a massive role in shaping how the case is perceived. The Sean Diddy Combs trial is no exception, and media coverage has been relentless, often shifting the focus from legal proceedings to sensationalized details. While the trial is a serious matter, the way it's covered, especially with the involvement of celebrity gossip, social media, and the long-standing rivalries, is contributing to a distorted narrative that distracts from the facts. For instance, the presence of celebrities like 50 Cent and Suge Knight has turned what should be a focused legal case into a spectacle that feeds into the public's hunger for drama. Every new revelation about Combs' personal life or past feuds takes on a life of its own. Media outlets and online commentators have fueled speculation, often presenting rumors as facts, leaving the public to wonder how much of what they know is truly based on the courtroom truth. Social media, in particular, has amplified the noise. Comments, posts, and tweets about the trial often focus on the salacious aspects, the bizarre details about matching shorts for the escorts or Jane's conflicting statements, rather than on the evidence that truly matters. The mix of sensationalism and the blurring of the line between truth and rumor makes it harder for the average viewer to discern what's real. But here's the problem. The more the public fixates on these sensational aspects, the harder it becomes for the jury to focus on the core of the trial. Will they be swayed by the media frenzy, or will they stay focused on the evidence presented in the courtroom? The pressure of media scrutiny can often impact not just the way the trial is viewed, but also the way legal strategies are carried out. The defense has used this to their advantage, turning Jane's inconsistent testimony into fodder for the press, while the prosecution struggles to keep the focus on the charges and the gravity of the situation. The role of media and public opinion cannot be underestimated in cases like this. It adds another layer of complexity to an already convoluted trial, where the lines between truth, speculation, and personal vendettas are dangerously blurred.
As we reach the end of this chapter in the trial, it's clear that the Sean Diddy Combs case is about more than just legal facts. It's a tangled web of emotion, speculation, and media frenzy. Jane's testimony has shaken the courtroom, but her contradictory statements have left many wondering. Is she truly a victim, or is this the complex story of a relationship gone horribly wrong? The defense has effectively used her own words against her, challenging the notion that she was coerced into these acts, while the prosecution struggles to present a cohesive narrative in the face of mounting confusion. Beyond the courtroom, the media circus continues to swirl, with high-profile figures like 50 Cent and Suge Knight casting long shadows over the case. Their involvement, along with the constant speculation surrounding the details of Jane's testimony, has made it difficult to separate fact from fiction. As the trial drags on, the lines between victim and willing participant grow increasingly blurry, and the public's thirst for drama only adds to the chaos. But here's the real question that lingers. What happens next? With so much uncertainty surrounding the case and with emotions running high, it's impossible to predict where the trial will go from here. Will Jane's testimony be enough to convince the jury, or will the defense's portrayal of a willing participant win the day? And what role will media, rivalries, and public opinion continue to play in shaping this story? The trial is far from over, and as it unfolds, we'll continue to watch closely, because the answers to these questions could redefine not only the future of Sean Combs, but also the way we perceive the truth in high-profile legal battles. Stay tuned, because this trial is but anything ordinary.